Hi everyone, welcome back to SeeThruLens. It's been a while, but I'm really excited to be here in what better time than Women's History Month. I want to take this moment to appreciate all the amazing women who have inspired me, those in my life, those I've worked with, and those I admire from a distance and hope to meet one day. Now let's get into today's video, a recap of my recent trip to Colombia. If you know me, you know I love traveling. I've been a few places and I am excited to start sharing some of the journey and experiences with you all. For this trip, I had a layover in Fort Lauderdale, and there I met my sister, and then we flew into Cartagena, Colombia. We landed in Cartagena and it took us over 2 hours to go through the immigration line. It was so long. There were so many people. I felt like I was backpacking at the airport. The worst. Then we took an Uber to our Airbnb. It was not too far from the airport, so it took us about 10 to 15 minutes to get there, and then the Uber was pretty cheap. We got to the place, we checked in, we freshened up, and then we headed to the city center in Getsemani. There we had dinner, so that was our first meal in Colombia. So we had it at St. Nicholas, like right in the city center, in between city center and Getsemani. The food, I would say, was a 5 out of 10. Then we walk around, stop at a few places, some bars, some restaurants, like kicking it with the local, dancing. The street dancer were pretty fun. Then we headed back to up. Next day we woke up pretty early. We went to the marina area and then we got ticket to visit 3 islands. So the 3 islands that we visited were Pau Pau, Bella Island, and Bora Bora. Our tour guide was really nice. We had our first stop at Pau Pau Island, which was about 45 minutes boat ride from Cartagena. At each island, we had a welcome drink. The second island that we visited was Bella Island. And Bella Island, that's where we had our lunch. After lunch, we took picture, walk around. Then we head to the third island, which was Bora Bora. At Bora Bora, it was more about like dancing, having fun. We relaxed, we enjoyed all the amenities, we took pictures and be around. And we headed back to Cartagena. The boat ride back to Cartagena was pretty rough, but the captain did warn us. Back to Cartagena, we took an Uber back to our place. We showered, got dressed, and we headed to dinner. We had dinner at Candy, which is 100% Colombian cuisine restaurant, and then they have show, dancers walking around on that national costume. And I will say the food was pretty good. I will give it an 8 out of 10. Then we did some more walk around the city. Then we head back and called it a night. Day 3, we woke up, packed our stuff to leave Cartagena to Medellín. So prior to us going to the airport, so we went to the city center and had Mr. Bono pastry. Then we headed to the airport. Once we got to the airport, there was a line, so we waited for over an hour. Then we got checked in, and then we headed to a terminal. Next to a terminal, there was a lounge since we had some time, so we headed to the lounge. So we had some coffee, tea, or whatever they had at the lounge. Then it was time for us to board our flight to Medellín. The flight was about 1 hour from Cartagena to Medellín, and we landed to Medellín safely. Then we got an Uber from the airport to our hotel. There was some light traffic, so it took us about 40 to 45 minutes from the airport to our hotel. We got there, we checked in, and we headed back to our room. Once we got to our room, we showered, freshened up, got dressed, and we headed to Provenza. Provenza is one of the common places in Medellin. Like people go, it's like a strip, like the Vegas strip, where there's a lot of restaurants and bars. So we walked around there, and then we stopped we stopped at one of the restaurants, so we had dinner there. Then we strolled around some more, visiting some more restaurants, some more bars. Then we headed back to our hotel and called it a night. Next morning, we woke up early. We had breakfast at the hotel. The breakfast was pretty good. They had a varieties of stuff, so I enjoyed it. Then we packed our stuff and headed to our next adventure, going to Guatapé. Going to Guatapé was an adventure. So we learn. That's why we travel. We travel to learn. But anyway, we made it to Guatapé and we're checking out a hotel. Then we headed to El Pinal Walks. There we climbed the 750 stairs up. Once you got there, it's like a beautiful view. The view is beautiful. You get to see all Guatapé City, maybe more, because it's so beautiful once you're there. Then we took some pictures. Then we headed to Guatapé Center. The Guatapé Center, it's like they have a lot of store, restaurants, maybe bars. We didn't get to enjoy any bars there because it was raining. So once we got there, we had dinner someplace. The food was okay. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. Then at the restaurant, there was a lady with her husband or partner, I don't know. And then they were trying to hustle, singing, trying to sing for me so they can get some money out of me. After dinner, we went back to the hotel, so we did not get to enjoy the city center in Guatapé much because it was raining very heavy. So it was the best decision for us to go back to the hotel. We got in cozy. We had a very cozy evening, sitting in the middle of the pool at the fireplace and sipping on a drink. It was nice. It was cozy. It was raining, but not as heavy that it was during the day. The following morning, we woke up, we had breakfast at the hotel. The breakfast was pretty good. They had a varieties of stuff to pick from. Then we had some pool time, so we enjoyed a little bit at the pool, enjoyed the hot tub. Then we booked a boat tour. Then we went for the boat tour. So we had to go back to our room, get ready real quick, and then met with the captain at the marina down. Then we went to a boat tour. The boat tour was really nice. The scenery was spectacular, and we had a great time. We were vibing. We enjoyed it. To be honest, that was one of the things that we truly enjoy in Guatapé. Then after the boat tour, it was time for us to head back to Medellín. So we had some fight with the front desk people because their checkout process is so long and miscommunicate. So we literally missed our bus. So when we finally made it to the station, so we spoke with one person and we were able to make it to the next one. Then we made it back to Medellín. In Medellín, we checked in at a hotel, we settled. Then we visited the neighborhood where we were staying. So we were around Manila. There, it's a lot of restaurants, so you get to walk around. You see a lot of different restaurants. So basically, we didn't eat at any of the restaurants. We basically just walk around there. Then we went back to our hotel. We got dressed, and then we head back to Provenza because Provenza opened later. Manila, the restaurant closed, I guess, by 8 p.m. Everything's pretty much shut down there. So in Provenza, so we had dinner, and after dinner, so we were pretty tired. So we went back to our hotel. I had an early morning flight back to the States. So I basically went back to sleep, woke up early, finished packing my stuff, then I took an Uber to the airport, and then from the airport, the check-in was pretty fast, so I didn't have any issues. Then I went to one of the lounge that they have. So basically there I had breakfast, sit down, and it was time for me to board my flight back to the States. And I say, bye, Colombia.